Hello everyone, I am Anamitra Bhattacharyya and welcome to Aviation with Anamitra. So it's the first video of the series exploring the science of flight, and in this video we'll discuss what is aeronautics and its evolution. So let's start. What is aeronautics? Aeronautics is the branch of science and engineering that deals with the study of flight, the concepts and theory of making actual aircraft design, development and its operation within the Earth's atmosphere. It includes the areas such as aerodynamics, aircraft design, propulsion systems, avionics, flight mechanics, and a lot more. Now, people usually get confused between what is aeronautics and what is astronautics. Aeronautics, as I said, is the study of flight inside the Earth's atmosphere, while astronautics is the study of flight outside the Earth's atmosphere, that is, in the space. Now, Sir George Cayley is termed as the father of aeronautics. And why is he called so? I am coming on to it later in the video. Now, the evolution of aeronautics. So, it can be broadly categorized into four main eras, which are the mythological era, the era of development, the era of interwar developments, and the modern era. Starting with the mythological era, the connection of the aeronautics with past concepts and mythology. So, the ancient Greek mythology contains numerous stories which depict characters with wings and their yearn to fly. In the 15th century, the great artist Leonardo da Vinci had envisioned his dream of human flight. In many of his paintings, like the one you can see in the slide, humans are depicted with wings and at times gliders as well, which show that the people at the time had a desire to fly. Now, moving on to the era of development, starting with the Montgolfier brothers. So, in the year 1783, the Montgolfier brothers, Joseph Michel and Jacques Etienne Montgolfier, launched the first manned hot air balloon, which marked the beginning of the controlled aerial travel. First, they tested an empty balloon, then they sent animals on it, and when they saw that it was safe, they tried it themselves, marking the beginning of the manned aerial travel. As I said, Sir George Cayley is termed as the father of aeronautics because he made groundbreaking contributions to the field. He studied the principles of aerodynamics and identified the four primary forces of flight, which are lift, drag, thrust, and weight. He also successfully designed the first glider in the 19th century. Now, Otto Lilienthal and his early gliders. So, Otto Lilienthal was a renowned German engineer and aviation pioneer who conducted a lot of testing on gliders in the late 19th century. He conducted experiments, collected data which were mostly empirical, and later he came up with valuable understandings on lift and wing design. Now, the Wright brothers. Now, I don't have to introduce who they are. Anyways, Wilbur and Oliver Wright, the siblings, achieved the grand success by making the first controlled, powered, and sustained airplane flight on 17th of December 1903. They flew for almost 12 seconds, covering an aerial distance of 120 feet on their aircraft, the Wright Flyer. And this marked the first successful human flight after centuries of dreaming. Now let's move to the era of interwar developments, starting with the First World War. So the First World War had brought about a revolution in the field. This period had seen a huge change. It was a time when new technologies like fighter planes, reconnaissance planes, bombers, etc. came into being. These gave the armies a better knowledge of the enemy's position and war strategy. Now, the developments during the First World War were significant, but more developments were seen during the Second World War. But now, there's a time period between it, which is called the Golden Age of Aviation, which includes the time period of 1920s and 1930s. Because of the rapid, now, it is called the Golden Age because there were rapid technological developments that had occurred. It was a time of rapid breakthroughs, transitioning from the slow wooden aircrafts to fast streamlined metal planes. And now it's a lot of it to discuss under it. But for now, we will only learn about two main pioneers, Charles Lindbergh and Amelia Earhart. Starting with Charles Lindbergh. So, Charles Augustus Lindbergh was an American aviator who is given the credit for flying on the first non-stop transatlantic flight from New York to Paris, starting on 20th May 1927, and covering almost a distance of 3,600 miles and flying for almost 33 hours. My goodness! And this was done on his aircraft, the Spirit of St. Louis. Now moving on to Amelia Earhart. So she was an American aviator and an aviation pioneer. She was known for being the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic or to cover a transatlantic flight in 1932. Moreover, she was the bestseller of her time by writing her books 20 hours 40 minutes and The Fun of It, which were based on the experience of the flight. And she is also given the credit for the formation of the 99s and organization of the female pilots. Now, World War II and the developments in the jet propulsion system. So, during the Second World War, there were major breakthroughs, especially in the propulsion technology. The first operational jet aircraft, like the Messerschmitt Me-262, like the one you can see in the slide, and Gloucester Meteor were introduced. These aircrafts were much faster than the propeller-driven aircrafts prevalent in the older times, like in the time period of the First World War and the time surrounding it. Okay, so now let's dive into the modern era, starting with space exploration. So it was an era which partially changed the field due to the competition among the countries for securing a rank in space exploration, betterment of the rocket technologies, and advanced aircrafts. The countries which led are USA for its NASA, China for CNSA, India for ISRO or ISRO, Russia for Roscosmos, etc. Now lastly, the post-war commercial aviation to the modern era. After the war, there were several developments in the technology, and over the time, new aircrafts and manufacturers came up, like the Boeing 707, McDonnell's DC-8, etc. Further, the advancements in the materials, avionics, have led to the development of more fuel-efficient aircrafts like the Boeing 737, Boeing 747, Boeing 777, 787, then Airbus A220, A320, A330, 50, 80, etc. And with this, we have come to the end of the video. Hope you liked it, and please feel free to email me or write in the comment section if you have any queries. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel for such sky high knowledge simplified for you.